And it was like almost as if I was being controlled. You know, it was like if the phases of the moon and the planets are affecting people's behavior and everyone's behavior, it's like there was no free will anymore. And everyone's sense of self, everyone's identity is attached to the sign that they were born under and the placement that their moon was in when they were born. And that's when I started to kind of hit a low point. Astrology kind of fills this void, I think, but it's temporary because it gives you a temporary sense of self, a temporary sense of purpose and meaning, a temporary sense of specialness, you know, and it fills your head with like this, oh, I have this, divine purpose. I was put on this earth to do this. And astrology did nothing but justify suffering, you know? And it's like, oh, the reason why I feel so like sad and depressed and anxious is because this is my moon sign. Or this is the reason why I come off as this is because that's my rising sign. And it was almost as if because you allow yourself to justify the suffering, you don't take yourself out of the suffering. You know, it almost gives you permission to not take ownership over your own actions and control over your own life. And I did not feel like I had any control over my life with this. To be completely honest, I really didn't, you know? And I also became very passive and very submissive with things because I was like, the mindset of people who are into New Ageism is the universe will take care of it. The universe, just leave it up to the universe. And that's not a good mindset to have because if you're leaving it up to the universe constantly, then how are you supposed to take action? Where's the sense of control that you have, self-control, if you're almost leaving everything up to this universe, you know? This other toxic idea that New Ageism has is the fact that we're all born with this purpose. You hear about it a lot, I notice. And it was, we're all put on this earth to fulfill our soul's mission, or we all have a soul's journey, or we have this big purpose. So when you think like that, when you hear that, and then you look at your life, you're like, wow, I work at Walmart full time and I'm not doing anything with my life. That's gonna make you feel kind of shitty, right? You're being told and fed all of these ideas of self-importance, but then your life does not amount to that. You're going to feel pretty crappy, and sooner or later you're going to feel depressed. And that's the toxic part of New Ageism. Another part that I wanted to touch on briefly was the idea of manifestation. And I get that for many New Agers who teach manifestation, the intent is very well thought out. It's very good. This idea of being able to have control over things. The thing is that in astrology, there's such thing as how manifestation ties into signs, right? So when the moon is full, for instance, they say that is the time where you can let go of stuff. And when it's a new moon, that's the time where the cycle is new and you can welcome stuff into your life. But this goes back to the point that I made about not having control over your life and being very passive. And that is the fact that instead of going after something, you're waiting on a cosmic body. You're waiting on the moon to enter a certain sign or for the moon to be full again or new again before you make a decision, before you do something. And that's kind of a very dangerous way to live. Because the thing is that when you get into astrology and stuff like that, it sells you on this idea of looking within. But these ideas of, relying on the universe to do things and constantly waiting on the moon to enter this sign, you're looking outside of yourself. You're almost giving your power to these things outside of yourself, the planets, the constellations, and it's like, where is the groundedness? And it's very easy for one to lose touch with reality when they're developing these beliefs that are not grounded in reality. Think about it. If your belief system is based on a planet, what a planet is going to do, how in the hell are you supposed to control what a planet is going to do? You have no control over that. So when you're giving your belief away to a cosmic body, where is how are you supposed to live your life if it's dictated by that? I also wanted to discuss the narcissism that's also involved in this. And the narcissism plays out in this obsession with yourself. And again, it's because it's this idea of self-discovery, self-identity, self-help. And this obsession with yourself, how this kind of displays itself is through the obsessions with watching numerous tarot reading videos or seeing a reader or seeing a psychic to know what's going on in my life. Everything is about my planets, my birth chart. Does what I'm going through, is it? So it's like this kind of self-absorbed obsession. And when you buy into these beliefs, like, what is my purpose? What is my grandiose mission on this planet? That's very narcissistic. Like, to believe that you're that special enough. Like, that's the confusion and how clouded the sense of judgment is when you buy into these things. I touched on this before, I believe, but it was the fact that the deeper that you get into New Ageism, the more you are going to lose your sense of self. Now, this is all going to seem very contradicting because New Ageism promotes selfism, self-identity, right? Self-worship even. But this